Good morning, everyone. My name is Joe Kramer. I'm the Executive Director of the Michigan Bean Commission. And with me today, I've stolen a few minutes of an old friend, Dean Nelson's time today. Dean and I go back at least 20 years, but I think he's been around longer than that, or at least around the bean business. So I was hunting today for someone that can kind of give us a perspective of the entire MnDAQ production region and just an update as to where they're at in terms of inventory, shipments, and then lead us into acreage according to USDA and kind of condition of the crop here as we look at it on the 10th of July. So with that, Dean, would you take a minute just to introduce yourself?
Yeah, Dean Nelson, happy to be here with you, Joe. I started in the bean business, I believe, 1984 with agri-sales. Before they became Mormons, before they came ADM, I was there for quite a few years, and then I was ended up being manager of the Mayport Farmers Co-op for about 6-7 years, and then I had opportunity to purchase part of a bean plant, Colgate Commodities, and I was there till about 6 years ago, and we sold that company to Trinidad, and then I went to work for Kelley Bean 6 years ago. So I think it adds up to like 37 years.
Well, I think I came to the right guy then. I wanted somebody that wasn't brand new to the industry, and after all those years, you should have it figured out, I'm thinking. So, Dean, tell us a little bit about the MnDAQ region in terms of that 2019 crop. I know it didn't live up to your expectations, but where are you at with inventory right now? You got a lot of beans to move yet, or where's the industry at out there?
Well, the North Dakota Pinos, probably is the number one, of course, the number one product for us, and our inventories are probably, I don't think I've ever been this low in inventory in any one of my facilities ever.
Wow.
We're down to, minimal inventories on Pinos. I think there is a little bit more inventories of navies around, but I think a lot of that is sold unshipped.
Sure.
I don't think there's a lot left for sale. Yeah, I think so. I think that's what generally happens when we see this kind of demand and tail end of the crop. And the black beans is also very low inventories across the state.
Wow. At your facility, do you handle any of the other classes, northerns or any of the kidneys?
Well, our company handles the navies, northerns at our Mayville plant. We got maybe a third of our northerns that we normally get in.
Wow.
Last fall. So that inventory has been pretty much gone, for a month now. Our plant and perm handles the dark reds and light red kidneys. Their bins are empty. It's pretty much all milled and on their floor.
Jeez.
So there's
I've never seen this either.
Swept. No, never seen anything like it. Really, by probably the first week in August here, I will have all my bins swept out and everything on the floor.
Incredible.
Yeah,
So
it's been crazy. But we started with a shorter crop.
Right.
We probably only got 2/3 of a crop that we were expecting, which was, on October 15th, we didn't know if we'd get that last third of the crop.
Right.
So
that's right.
We had our 3 biggest days of harvest here in Hatton at Halloween, November 1st and November 2nd.
Wow.
Which is just crazy.
Unheard of.
Yeah. It's just I've never seen anything like it.
So we come into our quarantine era, if you will, March 2020 or thereabouts. As bean shipments for everybody seem to boom. We kind of watched the grain markets go south on us, particularly corn. Ethanol demand is tanking. It appeared to me then that we could see an increase in dry bean acreage. The market was kind of asking for it, and grain markets were telling growers to plant something else. And I saw the USDA report last week. What did it tell us? 810,000 acres out there?
810,000, yeah, 810,000 acres in North Dakota.
As compared to last year, at under 6, right?
Yeah, it was 630 planted, 550 harvested.
Wow. So a big shift.
So
in your opinion, I'm guessing the bulk of that, people are talking about it, the bulk of that obviously is pinto beans. How are you, or how's your organization feeling about moving all those pintos?
Well, I think with empty facilities, we're certainly not concerned at all about the size of the crop. I guess getting it stored and marketed, it just
there's room for it.
There's room for it. So it actually is probably what's needed. Our local farmers here, and like you were saying, the soybean price wasn't great. The corn, we have 1 million acres of prevent plant in North Dakota.
Wow.
A lot of that was the corn, and they looked at the markets and said, the one thing I might have a chance to make money on is dry beans. And they tried to plant it, and I think if seed wouldn't have been a little limiting, there might have been more acres.
Wow. So the bulk of your crop, going from memory here, was planted late May and first 10 days of June, or not that late?
No, we planted right up to the 10th of June, which is the planting date, crop insurance planting date for North Dakota on dry beans. We had a few in my local area, the week of the 20th of May, but most of the stuff got planted the last week of May, first 10 days of June. Everything
went in pretty good conditions, or were you wet or dry?
No, I would not. No, we the Central Valley, kind of break it into 4 different regions. We have the Northern Valley, the Central Valley, the Southern Valley, and then we have the Wells County, McLean County, which is north of Bismarck, kind of central North Dakota, are our 4 main bean areas. The Northern Valley went in early. They were, 10th of May, they were planting dry, not a lot of moisture, and same with the central North Dakota. But from kind of just north of Grand Forks all the way down to the Interstate 94, which is kind of the Central Valley, extremely wet, a lot of moisture, a lot of stuff got planted in a little bit of mud. I mean, it just was not ideal conditions.
We watched Southern that Valley, last year here in Michigan.
It's never great planting in those conditions. You need a little moisture afterwards. You need it to dry out, and it's very touchy. And it wasn't ideal planting conditions for a lot of it.
And in the South?
The South was good. The Southern Valley went in good, a little lighter ground down there. They had pockets that had too much water that was a little wet, but overall it went in pretty average on time.
So for those of us that may not be that familiar with North Dakota, do you have an acreage concentration in one of those regions, or are they relatively the same size?
The largest concentrations are the Central Valley, the Northern Valley, and then Wells County and McLean County. Those are the main edible bean growing areas. But it's it's 100 miles from here to the border. I'm central, and it's probably 50, 60 miles west. So there's a lot of area, and then you get up into that Devil's Lake area across Highway 2 in the northern central. There's some good acres up there too. So I mean, we're so spread out, and there's so many acres, across a large area, it's hard just to say, well, the crop is just this right here. You know, it's really hard to throw a net and over all of it and generalize it. So I'll try to break it down by those growing regions that we have in the state here.
No, I appreciate that. It is a vast neighborhood. So I like driving around out there and looking at it, but it's really hard to capture it all. So So how would
this
you?
Year,
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, you know, when you say the 810,000 acres, you can definitely tell when you're driving around and seeing the edible bean fields.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt that the acres, I think, are definitely there this year.
I would say, just as a side note, the same is true in Michigan. Our acres are up over last year, and it's apparent as you drive around. It kind of jumps out at you. So no, I understand that. So if you kind of took a snapshot of where you're at today, is your crop? Would you say, generally speaking, or maybe by region, is your crop got moisture? Are you too dry? Is it ready to flower? Where are you at there?
Yeah. Well, it's all over the board, really. But the North Dakota crop report this week said we're 10% blooming, and we are 64% good to excellent in the state of North Dakota. So last week, the week of the 4th, the dry areas like Cavalier County, Pembina County, up along the Canadian border, and then McLean County, Wells County out in Fessenden and Washburn, that area have been very dry. But they caught 3.5 inches of rain, 2 to 3.5 inches of rain last week, which, it drowned out a little bit on the bottom, but
You'll
made
take it
the
on
rest
the top,
of the stuff very good. Yeah, so it was more beneficial than hurtful. So they got a good shower, and they were really starting to see some stress because of drought.
Yeah.
Now you come down to the Central Valley, from kind of south of Grand Forks to Northwood, Thompson, north of Hatton, southern Grand Forks County, northern Trail County. We got anywhere from 5.5 to 10 inches of rain last week.
Holy
a week
smokes.
ago last Tuesday. So I could have taken a jet ski in the ditch from Northwood to Thompson, which is like 25 miles, and not got out of water.
Wow.
So we had some severe drowned out. Water was running over every road. It just can't handle, the 24-inch culverts can't handle that type of water. So every
flat.
corner of every section, very flat, had 60 to 100 acres drowned it out. And then it was 90 degrees the days afterwards. So it just baked everything. I mean, it's just gone.
Took its toll.
And
did not know that.
Yeah, it's a pretty big area. It's I've got half a dozen growers in that area, and I talked to them all here either this week or the end of last week, and a lot of 60 to 70% just lost in their fields. It's ugly, but it's an isolated area. When you look at the grand scheme of the 810,000 acres, we've probably lost 4 to 5% because of excess moisture. Now you get from where I am in Hatton and you go south to Castleton, we got maybe 4 or 5% drowned out, but the rest of the field looks really good. And then you go in the Southern Valley, and that looks, really good. They've caught timely rains and a little drowned out, but, mostly beneficial rains. But we have the one pocket that is really ugly.
Got some challenges.
Yeah, it's ugly.
So if inventory's running low, as we talked about, and roughly when things were planted, are you expecting your first load of beans about the middle of September, or would you be in August?
I think we're going to be in August. We've had 10 days here of tremendous growing degree days, and there's adequate moisture. I think we'll see end of August beans, first week of September.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're going. I mean,
Yeah.
it's been pretty ideal growing conditions besides the too much rain. And if you didn't get too much rain, it's been, really perfect.
Well, Dean, I appreciate your time this morning. I appreciate the update. We may check back in with you here in a few weeks and maybe mid to late August and see how things are going, compare notes a little bit like we always do.
Yeah.
So, hey,
we'll have a little better idea when we see some flowers and pods start coming and get a little better assessment of what the yields are going to look like.
Sure.
So.
Hey, I know you're a Bison fan. Are you playing football this fall, or what's going on?
Boy, I don't know. We're kind of concerned about it. With the Big Ten announcement yesterday, and the Bison are supposed to play Oregon on September 5th in Oregon. And now it sounds like the Pac-10 may be going the same way. So, I don't know. It's going to be difficult.
Yeah. It's a different world, isn't it?
Yes, it sure is. It sucks.
Dean, thanks for your time. All the best to your family, and give our best to our friends at Kelley Bean Company as well when you're visiting with the leadership there. So, thanks, Dean. Stay in touch.
Thank you, Joe. You bet. Same to you. See ya.